Hey,
Trying to see where we're live on.
we're live, apparently.
Yeah, Memorex. Remember that? I don't think. All right, here we go. We're up.
Okay, where do I find it? Share it.
It's on my page.
Oh, okay.
My homepage. Yeah. 4 minutes to Halford,
Rob Halford, the metal god.
the metal god himself. We're gonna get a call from the record label, and then they're gonna patch us through the Rob. 4 minutes to Halford.
Rob Halford, the metal god.
The metal god himself. Yeah, if everybody's just tuning in, we'll be joined shortly by Rob Halford. He's going to be calling us live from Brazil. They're performing out there, and he's doing this in honor of the veterans at Mariano Alvarez. How are you, buddy? He's a manager to the stars. He's got one of his most famous clients, Freddie Rubino. He's a dear friend of mine and a very talented individual. Mariano, welcome. Hello, Elaine Grasso West. How are you? Steve Keller, who was joining me here, Killer Keller.
Hello there.
And John Shork. John's good to see you, as always. And we're just waiting for that phone call. So we came on earlier just to
Be ready.
be ready. That's right. I like that. Very good terminology, Steve.
Yes, you like that? I've been thinking.
All right.
So, tomorrow night I got an interview with KK Reaper and the Carnies of Chaos.
Now, where's that at?
It's going to be at the Saint in Asbury Park, New Jersey.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
And then I'm meeting in New York City, Empty Trail.
That's tomorrow, too?
That's Wednesday.
Wednesday. Well, you got a busy week, huh?
Yeah, and I think, don't we have Frank Hannon coming up possibly
Tomorrow, yeah. What time are you going to that thing tomorrow?
Oh, it's going to be in the evening.
Oh, okay.
But I could do it on the road as well.
I like the way you're venturing out and behind my back and doing all these things.
It's all for you, buddy.
Yeah. I'm sure.
It's all for you. Franco wants to take pictures. This KK Reaper and the Carnies of Chaos, apparently a theatrical band.
Oh, okay.
He wants to get pictures, and since we're meeting them, we're going to be talking to them.
Yeah. Let me just... I just email the chip just to remind... Oh, you know what? Let me do it this way. I want to welcome everybody who's listening in. We should be joined shortly by Rob Halford, who's be calling us from Brazil. He wants something that he wanted to do in honor of the veterans for Veterans Day, and today couldn't be a more perfect day for him to do that. And we thank him because he's tremendously busy, still on tour. Usually he doesn't do his interviews while he's still on tour, but he's making an exception in our case.
That's very cool.
Yeah, it is. I mean, somebody of his caliber, it's people think, oh, well, them guys get pulled in 10 different directions, and it's hard.
No, they've made time for us at all the area shows we've been going to, and Rob Halford's been nothing but accommodating.
Yeah, when we go to see him at PNC this past summer they just... everybody that works for him is tremendous. So
Yeah. I enjoyed the Nork show a lot.
Yeah.
That was fantastic. Was it the same? It wasn't the same acts with them on both shows, right?
no, it was
No, we had Saxon and
Black. Don Jameson's friends with that band.
yeah.
I think we got something coming in, Gene.
Ooh.
Are you sure you're in the right Skype?
Which Skype you got? Your Skype?
Yeah. Yeah, that's why now I got to call her back. All right. Hopefully they'll call back.
Nope, he gives you one shot.
Hello? Hi, Sally. I'm sorry. We weren't patched into the 718 number that you just dialed? Yeah. 701-8249? Yeah, that's the number you call. We're all right. What happened is we had the wrong number patched in, but we just corrected that error. I couldn't get to the phone at time. Yes, and we're all set to go for you. Yes. Okay. Thank you, Sally. All right.
Yeah, so that was Black Star Riders. Movie.
Black, I knew it was, yeah, because John
Yeah.
Jameson actually went with them on the tour.
On the
so-
tour, yeah.
So, Don Jameson, good friend of mine, funny comedian, and the host of that metal show. All right, everybody, here we go. We're ready. Patch him in when you're ready, Gene. Sally? Try calling that number back.
Thank you for calling Sony Music Entertainment.
Try it again. There we go.
Ah, it's happening.
Hi, Sally?
Sorry, how do I...
Sally?
Hang on. Hi,
How-
one second, please.
No problem.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Okay, can you both hear each other?
Absolutely. Rob?
Hello.
Rob?
Hello.
Yes, this is Rob. Who's this?
Hey, Rob, this is Carlo Valerio, Armed Forces Radio Network, Animal House Radio. Good morning.
Hello, Carlo. It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil.
Ah,
Oh, my
good
gosh.
afternoon.
Oh, good afternoon, then. I'm sorry.
Yes, I'm Steve Keller. How are you today?
I'm doing great, thank you, guys. It's a real pleasure to be speaking with you. I'm looking forward to a great chat.
Yeah, you know what, Rob? I can't tell you what an honor it is. We met you over the summer at the in New Jersey, and you couldn't be more gracious to us and our vets. And Jane Andrews, who went above and beyond, and just speaking with you. This was the second time we met you, and it was just an amazing thing. You know, like growing up watching you and listening to you, and the show. I mean, unbelievable. I can't put into words what like watching you guys on stage and. Your voice, it sounds like I'm listening to you on a cassette in my car in 1982. It's gotten more powerful and it's better than ever.
Well, thank you so much. You've given me a real boost. I really appreciate those kind words. And let me just say a big thank you for the opportunity to speak to you guys and everybody today through the Armed Forces Radio Network, as it's a very special day. You know, Carlo and Steve. We send our love to everybody in the armed forces around the world, active duty and vets as well. So this is a big shout out of love and support and thanks to everybody.
And they love you just as much. And everybody I know that was so excited for this. Rob, I want to jump right in, and I have so many. I know we don't have a lot of time with you, and but I'm going to try and we'll get to everything that I want to cover. Firepower. It's the album that you released, and I like I said with watching you on, I can't put into words. The album is tremendous. Every song is better than the next. It has that signature pre-sound, and it's even heavier than I would have expected it to be. Amazing. My favorite track was Trader's Gate. I just love that album, and it's doing really well, which I'm grateful for.
Thank you. Yeah, you know, it's the joy of music. You never know where the journey's going to take you in life, you know, musically or non-musically. So we just still have that fire and passion for doing what we love to do in Priest as metal musicians, and there's just something about the way things got together for this record. It's hard to describe. Music always takes on a life of its own, you know, as it should, because it keeps it real and honest in that respect. But everything, you know, all the stars were aligned. We had, however you want to describe it, it's just the initial writing sessions that we had, Glenn and Richie and myself, were just so abundant. You know, we just had the fire burning right from the get-go, and then of course hooking up with a great production team with Tom Allen and Andy Sneap and Mike Exeter. Everything combined was just magical for this release. You know, we're so excited, and we thank everybody for making it such a big success for Judas Priest around the world.
Yeah.
Well, not only is the album fantastic, the tour that's accompanying the
Oh
album.
my God.
What a phenomenal show you guys put on this year.
It's
Well, yeah, we've been on the road since March,
Yeah.
non-stop. I mean, we've been all over North America a couple of times now, I think, and Canada. We're down here in South America, and we've been all through Europe. We're off to, after we finish here in South America, we're off to Japan, South Korea,
Oh wow.
and Indonesia before we take a break. I'm going to shout out to everybody in South Korea, in the military. If you want to come see the show, just get a hold of the promoter, and we have an open invite to, you know, as you know, Carlo, and Steve, an open invite to anybody that's served or is in service.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
That's very
So then we're
generous.
going to work, working up till December, and then we take a short break, and then we kick off again with Ozzy back in the home country for
Yes.
for a bunch of shows. So
I-
it's non-stop, you know. We're looking at the long game plan. I think we're going to be out off
Yeah.
and on probably through till 2021.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Rob, let me ask you a question. When it comes to doing the tour, now you guys tour year after year. How hard does it get? I mean, do you feel that musically, I know it's had to be challenging because the set list, you know, it changes from venue to venue, and then you have to take stuff out that maybe the fans want to hear, but, you know, how do you keep topping yourself year after year as far as the production value of the whole tour? Is that the hardest part, or is the set list a major issue when you're doing a tour?
I think you have to kind of make overall sense of the great honour and privilege it's been to be in a great metal band like Judas Priest for almost 50 years. You know, we're always stepping up to the plate. We never take anything for granted. We're very grateful to all of our fans around the world that have given us this long life in metal. So that's always in our minds, you know, wherever we work, whatever stage we set foot on in the world, like we did here last night in Rio, you give 1,000%, and that's to some extent, that's your responsibility. You know, you don't want to disappoint your fans. Your fans have paid good money, and you know they deserve to get the best that you can give. So that's all part of the philosophy of Priest. You know, we love what we do. We have a lot of fun with what we do, but we take it deadly seriously. You know, it's an important part of our being in Judas Priest, and again, because music is an emotionally based source of an exchange of power and energy,
Right.
you have to be aware of how people are feeling, you know. So that's just been the kind of mantra that Priest has always had from day one, which is to do our best and to give our best wherever we are in the world.
Absolutely, and you know what? I was glad to see on the tour. I think when you were in Newark, New Jersey last year. Unfortunately, Glenn Tipton, who is battling Parkinson's, and we all here, and I'm sure everybody around the world wishes him, you know, a speedy recovery and hopes that and it was glad to see him pop in and out on certain shows, and it was amazing to see him, and
Yeah.
hopefully he'll be back in the rotation soon.
It's beautiful for you to say that. Thank you. I'll pass that on to him. Glenn's a hero, you know, and again with references to some of the brave men and women that are dealing with, you know, various issues, physical challenges, mental challenges. The world is a bit of a better place in terms of where you can go for help now, you know, and in Glenn's case with his Parkinson's. He wasn't even aware that he had the symptoms for a number of years until he was thoroughly diagnosed. But like Glenn and like all the heroes in service, you know, active duty and vets, there's a great support system of people out there that love you and that are ready to provide the help and give you the care and attention that you need. And that's the same case with Glenn. He's got the best doctors in the world looking after him.
Oh.
And with Parkinson's, it's a day-to-day situation. You know, some days are better than others.
Yeah.
And Glenn will always step out. Glenn will always come out when he's feeling strong. I hear he's probably going to come out to Japan, which will be great.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's a long flight, you know. It's a long flight from London to Tokyo.
Yeah.
But he loves his fans so much that as and when he's feeling strong enough, he'll come out and play. So, yeah, Glenn's the heavy metal hero right now, and we
Yeah.
love him, and we thank you for thinking about him.
Oh, that's not at all.
Well, I
It's-
know the fans' response when he came out in Newark. I think he did 3 songs.
Yeah.
Was phenomenal. I mean, the
Yeah.
response was great.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Rob.
Yeah, well, you know, Glenn will be the first to say that he stands there not just for himself, but for everybody that's dealing with that particular challenge. And we have the Glenn Tipton Foundation
Yes.
that he's created, which you can buy a T-shirt, or you can actually make a donation if you wish. Directly, you can find that information through the Judas Priest social networks that are there at your fingertips. And that's the big thing, isn't it, with these kinds of things, guys? You need the funding, you need the resourcing, you know?
Yeah.
And I know the current administration is stepping up and trying to do as much as they can with funding the needs for individuals with PTSD and everything else that's related to these types of issues. So, yeah, you know, we're all in it together in that respect for kind of reaching out and loving each other and helping each other as much as we can.
Well, you know what? He has our support, and I always push that foundation as much as I can on during the live shows on Wednesday nights. Rob, I have to. I wanted to ask you about your solo career. I think you embarked upon it in 1992, and it's funny. On the way here, Steve and myself, we drove in and we dug out the Halford CD, the solo CD.
Resurrection.
Resurrection. I mean. I forgot how great that CD was. I mean, it was just amazing. It was so much heavier than I remembered. And I wanted to ask you, I know every artist occasionally will say, they want to do a solo thing. Was the reason because with Screaming for Vengeance and Turbo Lover, they got kind of commercialized? Did you feel that you needed to go back to the heavier roots and go out on your own, or?
No, I think I was on the same journey as a lot of my friends in music. It's a funny thing with lead singers. We have a tendency to go off on our own and do things.
What do you call that, LSD?
We end up coming back to the place where we were determined to be.
Right.
Ironically enough, Resurrection kind of was a bridge back to Judas Priest. You know, I'd been away with the Halford Band, the 2 project with John Five, and the Fight record, all of which I had a great time making. And it's one of those things where if you're a creative person, you're constantly searching for other opportunities, you know. And I sought those out, and I still do now. I'm just very curious about what can be made with other musicians, especially. Mm-hmm. But yeah, thank you for referencing Resurrection. I stand by that record. It was a great record. Everybody played their hearts out on it. You know, Metal Mike and Bobby Dijonback and everybody did a great job.
Yeah, that is a great album. Yes.
Rob, I know a lot of people know who you are worldwide. I mean, you're just iconic. Just real quick, because I know we don't have much time, but how did it start for you? Where did you get your love of music from, and who influenced you early on?
Well, like yourself, guys, probably there was a time in your life, particularly in your teenage years, when you're going through the process of growing up, and you're at a place that feels kind of lonely because your mum and dad don't understand how you feel, your schoolmates don't.
Right.
You're looking around the world and you've got nobody, but then suddenly you hear a song on the radio, or a friend plays you a song on a record. And so for me, you know, probably in my early teen years, that's when music really took a strong, solid hold on me and really got me thoroughly connected. And, you know, I was a kid that was born and raised on the back of World War II. My home country was still war rations, and new homes were being built, and there was this great thriving life, not only in my home country, but around the world. There was like a new hope, a bright new hope for the future, which ironically today looks a bit shaky, you know, being the news hound that I am. But that's another story altogether. However, you know, my aunt gave me a record player when I was a little kid as a gift, and in the record player were 3 45 singles. One was Chuck Berry, one was Chuck Berry, I believe. One was Little Richard, and then the other one was Elvis. And I think I was maybe 9 or 10 years of age when I heard those songs, and it was like an electric shock to my system. Even as a little kid, that's how music kind of grabbed a hold of me. And then, you know, the story kind of leads from that point onwards. It's a passion. Any musician will tell you that there's a kind of a lightning bolt moment in your life when you kind of sit up and you go, this is what I've got to do, this is what I've got to be. And that's what I've been doing within Judas Priest for almost 50 years now.
And you've been doing it right, and it shows. Rob, you know what's funny about what you said? A lot of the artists that we interview, especially the ones who are in the UK or out of the country, when I met Lemmy years ago, it so amazed me when he told me how much he loved Little Richard. And because you wouldn't expect that from somebody like yourself or Lemmy. You think it's going to be this hard-charging answer of something, but you got to realize at the time when you guys were growing up, that's what was out there. And it's amazing how, like, if you ask a U.S.-based band, they always cite English influences or somewhere out of the U.S. It's so crazy how that parallel works.
Well, this is the beautiful relationship that the United States has had with the United Kingdom for as long as we can remember, back and forth, in lots of ways. And particularly in music, we've been kind of sending things across the pond, as we call it, for as long as music's been around, and particularly in the area of rock and roll. You know, I was watching a great documentary on Keith Richards the other day, and he was referencing when he was in the UK, and he heard those songs by Chuck Berry and Fats Domino and the like, you know, and it inspired him in the Stones. So this is what we do. There's a beautiful connection between the USA and the UK in that musical sense. And Little Richard, God bless him, you know, he is a pioneer.
Little Richard was
in a very difficult time, but his music just really was part of the whole rock and roll creation.
Absolutely. I think Little Richard may have been the king of rock and roll. I mean, he was out there in the forefront.
Yeah, I mean, Chuck Berry too. I mean, I could have swore that the Beatles said, and the Rolling Stones, that they were influenced by Chuck Berry.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you know.
Incredibly, both of them, yeah. I remember seeing pictures of the Beatles with Elvis, and the Beatles with Chuck Berry and with Little Richard. So it's great, man, you know, and even today, you know, all kinds of bands, but specifically in metal, we kind of reference each other, and that will always continue to be the case.
Yeah. Hey, Rob, you mentioned earlier that you're going to be doing a tour next year with Ozzy. Please tell me you're going to play New Jersey or New York, because I cannot miss that.
Well, as I understand it, right now we'll start off next year with the dates with Ozzy in the UK and in Dublin, and we're going across to do some more shows in Europe before we head with Ozzy to Australia and New Zealand. I think I saw the other day that our brother Dave Mustaine from Megadeth, his band was going to be working with Ozzy in the States. I'm not really sure if that's 100%, but
I did
either way,
see that.
You know, we always come back to Jersey. We love Jersey. We've had a great relationship with just about every place on the map in the United States. Jersey, New York, you all hold a special place in our mental hearts. But
awesome.
You know, at the end of every show, guys, as you saw, we have that screen come up. The Priest will be back, and that's definitely going to be the case for Priest.
Absolutely.
Next year.
You know, It looks like I'm gonna have to fire up my passport.
Yeah. Rob, I was fortunate enough to see Black Sabbath with every vocalist, including you.
Well, yeah, and again, I was talking to Jerry Cantrell about that the other night. We've just done some shows with Alice in Chains here in South America, and I had dinner with Jerry, and he was saying that he referenced a bit of footage of me singing with Sabbath in Costa Mesa in California, and then of course we also talked about the show in Camden. In
Yeah, that's the
Jersey.
one I was at. Yeah.
Yeah, where I was like a kid in a candy store, because Priest will always be the first band in my life, and of course after Priest, for me, will always be Black Sabbath. So it was one of those things where you help each other out. I got a call from Sharon, as he wasn't feeling too well, asked if I would step in, and I did. That's what we do. We've got each other's backs to music, but it was a thrill for me, definitely.
Yeah,
You know what?
That was awesome.
That's great to do that because you don't always a lot of bands don't always gel well, but it's good to see that you guys are old school and you realize what's important. Rob, we had a question come in online from one of our servicemen. He wanted to know who came up with the name Judas Priest, and if it says, do you see a resurrection of new bands paralleling Judas Priest?
Well, the band itself was formed and created a year or two before I actually joined, and the rumor is that the actual name Judas Priest comes from a Bob Dylan song where he's talking about Frankie Lee and Judas Priest. And I think that's about as close as we've ever been able to get to the source of the truth, However you talk about it, what a great name, it served us well. It's just that great power of the two words, Judas and Priest, light and shade, negative and positive, just the mix, the oil and water mix that we've tried to kind of utilize in all of the things that we've done with Judas Priest, because this is a band that can be playing Killer One song and we can be living after midnight together in the next song, part of the great adventure that we have with our music within the band. And yeah, lots of newer metal bands. We kind of pass the metal torch to one another. We all know each other one way or another, even if it's only through the music that we listen to. But that's the way we kind of share and grow in the experiences of music.
Well, you know what? I mean, that's great. I mean, like I said, you've influenced a lot of people, and it's 50 plus years, and you guys are still around. Just your voice, Rob. Like I said, I mean, with the falsetto and then the gruffiness, it's like I never seen anybody do that in my life. And I'm not just saying this because I'm a huge fan. I go back to, Rock-a-Rolla. I've been a lifelong fan. I'm saying this from a person who just wouldn't know anything. When you know talent when you hear it. So but besides the fact that I'm, a lifer with you guys, it's just amazing. Like I just couldn't believe it when I saw you listening to you both. I mean, sometimes artists, they don't sound as good. They start to decline. You're getting better, so I don't know what you're doing, but keep on doing it.
No, I don't know. I don't know what it is either. It's my destiny.
Yeah.
It's the man upstairs. He's keeping me in good shape, and I'm just blessed. I do what I can to look after my voice. I've been clean and sober for 32 years, and I know that that's been a big help. It's
God
good
bless.
for anybody.
Yeah.
If you're having any kind of challenges with that, there's plenty of opportunities to step forward and find the help that you need, because when you do become clean and sober, if you're an alcoholic like I am, if you're a drug addict like I am, then you can get these things put in the right place. It's hard work, it's a struggle, but at the end of the day, the rewards are so magnificent. It's what keeps me grounded and enables me to do the job that I want to do to the best that I can.
Absolutely.
I'm really glad you got a handle on that. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it's not easy, I can imagine. But the courage just to do it and to be successful, and I think the hardest part is maintaining that sobriety and you have to be commended for that. And like I said, you're a role model for so many people, and we don't have many of those nowadays. So I think you should pat yourself on the back for that, Rob, because
Well, I don't do it by myself. I do it with all the great tools and things that surround me. You know, when you're on this journey of keeping sober, you don't do it by yourself. You've got some higher power that's with you 24/7, and then you're surrounded by beautiful people, like I have with my band and with my fans. Guys, it's been a real pleasure speaking to you today. I'm so happy that I was able to talk with you on Veterans Day. It's a really, really special day for me personally. I have a lot of friends that are in active duty. Some of them actually do the secret squirrel stuff, very dangerous stuff, and I love them dearly. So, hey guys, I know you're Priest metalheads. A big shout out of thanks for you for looking after Priest for all this time.
Yeah, Rob, before we let you go, would you do a station ID for us here?
Of course I will, man. What would you like me to say?
You just introduce yourself and say you're listening to the Animal House Radio Show on the Hamilton Radio Network.
The Animal Show Radio Show on the Hamilton Radio Network. Is that what I got to say?
No, Animal House Radio.
Okay, look.
Yeah, Animal House Radio on the Hamilton Radio Network.
Hamilton Radio Network. Okay. Hi, everybody. This is Rob Halford, the Metal God from Judas Priest. I'm listening to the Animal House Radio on the Hamilton Radio Network. Turn it up.
Rob, thank you so much. God bless for taking some time out of your schedule. Continued success, and we hope to see you soon.
We love you, man.
Thank you, boys. All the best. See you. Bye-bye now.
Take care. All right, everybody, that was our interview with Rob Halford. I hope you all enjoyed it. It will be replayed this Wednesday night, so if you missed it, don't worry about it because we will play it live again Wednesday night. It was tremendous. What do you think, Keller?
I think he's a great guy. He's really nice dude.
It was one of my favorite. What do you think, Gene?
Yeah, I like him.
Yeah, amazing. I didn't even know that he was had those issues either. As big a fan as I was with the, and we hope, our best wishes for Glenn Tipton too, and you can go on their site judaspriest.com and follow them on the tour. And for all our servicemen and women, go check them out. If wherever you're stationed at, contact the promoter of that show. Judas Priest will give you the royal treatment. When you're a veteran, Steve, soup to nuts when we came. They brought us backstage. We hung out with them. It wasn't like. And let me tell you something, and Steve will concur with me. It wasn't like these meet and greets where you take a picture and they shush you out of the room. He actually stood out and hung out with us like we were we weren't fans, we were friends.
We were buds, yeah.
And that's what I love about them.
Well, we have one of the servicemen on with us now on our Facebook chat.
Peter.
Yeah, he met the band with the military.
Yes, Peter came out with us,
Yeah.
and
Peter Lester.
is a great guy, is a great serviceman, and Pete's been to a lot of shows with us. Always love him and Sandy, and he's very humble, Peter, and he's very grateful for the opportunities. When we go to PNC, he bends over backwards to get me chicken fingers or a lemonade. So that's what's great about Peter. He's really good. And happy Veterans Day to all our veterans who are listening via Armed Forces Radio Network. We here at Animal House Radio, we love the veterans. We do as much as we can. And if you have any causes or anything that you want to talk about, veterans have an open invite on this show. And I want to wish them all, people who are serving and have served, God bless you and thank you so much for your service. Richard Nashme, I want to say hello to him. Peter Jester, Anthony LaBrusa, Darlene, Russell Davis, Colin Tish. That's your bass player?
It is, yeah.
Yeah, Colin Tish is checking in. Anthony LaBrusa, Arson Faria, who was one of my co-hosts on the TV web series I'm doing called The Bound. Good stuff is going to happen, so keep your eyes open for that. Mickey Lee Ferentz, he's a friend of the show. Eddie Podesta, and everybody else who tuned in. Shay Farrell. Shay, I haven't seen him in a while. Hope he's doing well. And we'll see you all Wednesday night, and you can hear the replay. Thank you so much, and we'll see you Wednesday.